so depressing, and it can lead you into a point where you're thinking, okay, you don't even trust that maybe they were at fault and that was why I got the sack letter, or something must have occurred. You just think that I must have been the problem. And sometimes I see that the female gender do this a lot, and they are quick to say, oh, what happened? Hey, what are you now going to do? What are you now going to do? Well, that is not the point. That is not the time to start doing that. Accept the feeling and help them go through with it.
It's interesting that you mentioned it and went that direction in right off the boat, because yes, it's a difficult thing for any person to lose their job. And one of the things that comes to the mind of anybody, because if it's you resigning, that's a different thing. You probably have a plan. If
it's you resigning based off of a conversation with your boss not wanting to fire you, so that another company can hire you.
You probably have a game plan. But if they handed you the letter to say, or they did a thing,
they told you that you know what, resign.
That said we no longer want you to be here, and we don't. It's so many thoughts will go through your mind. Like you said, if you are the sole provider, even if you are one half of the provision team, it still bears down on your mind first of all,
because you are thinking,
what will I do next? If you have kids, how will I pay the fees? How will I cater to the needs of my family?
How will I even get a new job?
How will I get a new job?
How do I go job hunting now?
Where do I go? And if you're someone who hasn't maybe taken time to develop yourself professionally or learned a skill or something, it's going to be a lot of things on your mind. So it's not going to be in anybody's interest, whether as a spouse whose spouse just lost the job, or as the spouse who is coming home, to meet those questions that Gift asked. So what did you do? So what are we going to do now? How do we pay these bills? This is not even something we're prepared for. It's going to really, really bear down on that person. And I think that's not a place you want to be. And that's not a place you should be as a spouse.
Yeah, so first things first, accept their feeling. Obviously, they are grieving. They didn't want this to happen. They don't want to be at the far end of not being able to provide for their family, or, ensure that they have a palatable life with family, because family is important. And when you think about these things, it can be so gruesome. It can be so depressing. First of all, like I said, accept their feelings. Tell them everything is going to be okay. It can bring out the most extreme feeling and behavior of someone if you just outrightly say, oh, what did you do? Why are you home? Okay, so how would we provide for the family? It could bring out the worst out of them. Another thing you need to do is show empathy. Empathize with the situation. Don't be outrightly blaming them for the things that they should have done right. It has happened. It has happened. So why not we just pick up the pieces of our lives and try to manage things through? And I always say this, finance is something that everyone needs to talk about before they head into marriage. You need to know what your husband is earning. You need to know what your wife is earning. And we have these conversations on the Super Savers show. It happens every Monday from 5:30 up until 6 o'clock on the Drive Time show. And we found out that it's really important to have at least backlog of savings or emergency funding, so that if anything like that happens, at least it is said that you should take care of yourself for at least the first 6 months after the loss of a job. You should be able to have saved all through your job to be able to stay afloat. That's what I'm looking for the first 6 months of your job. But show empathy, because empathetic people, I'm big on empathy. Anything can happen to anybody. It could have been you. Yeah. So show empathy, and try to take them out of that mood.
And let me say this to you as a half of a couple, or one part of a couple, that it's very important to remember that you made a vow to say
through thick and thin,
through the bad and the worst, the good time and the bad times. And really, if this person has been there creating that level of balance during the good times, then this is your time to also create that level of balance during the bad times.
Right.
Now, there's so much that goes into this. First of all, acknowledging the feelings of the person. Like
exactly.
You said,
accept the feelings.
You need to accept that feeling. Acknowledge. It's important to recognize the emotional impact of losing your job. There's so much that this person's mind will go everywhere. But when they know that there's someone smiling and saying, we will be fine.
Everything's going to be okay.
We will be fine. And saying we've saved this much, we can do this much with this.
And then start looking for options for you. And say, you know what, I know that, because no one is used to just sitting back and doing absolutely nothing, especially if you have somebody who is a hard worker and being in the house day one. Day two.
Knowing that
The first week
you're
has
not-
gone.
Mhm.
Your neighbors asking, "Are you on leave?" "Ah, yes, I'm on leave." Oh.
And after your 1
And
month
2 weeks
leave,
after 1 month leave, they don't see you go out of the house.
you know, there's that pressure.
Exactly. There's just that pressure. So accepting your feelings, accepting the feelings of your partner is important.
Yeah.
Showing empathy and finding out and trying to get them out of that mood by
Yeah.
doing fun things together.
And reassuring them.
Yeah,
Reassuring them
That's
of
so
their
important.
worth. You know, sometimes people derive a lot of worth from, oh, I wake up and I have to go to work. But then that's not all of it. The fact that you don't have a job or you don't have what you're doing at the moment, that income is being generated from, doesn't mean you don't have, you know, some level of importance. Like
Right.
you are very, very important, and it's not something that is tied to what you're earning or how you're earning it or how you're able to provide. Yes, a lot of self-worth can come from that. You know, people feel better when they can
when they can do some
provide.
certain things or provide. So like you said, reassurance and affirmation, words like your job does not define you.
Yes.
You are worth more than you can ever think. Their loss. Your gain, their loss. You can do anything that you set your mind to doing. Let's just plan strategically to get you back into the workforce, into the labor market, and so that you can earn. And if at all they want to start a business.
Yeah, even if you're asking to say it, look, I love the fact that we're going there as well. That you know, if okay, so what, like it's not like the first thing that you're asking. After this has been on for a while, and you know they're starting to come out of that gloom of, oh, I lost my job. While you're speaking about self-worth and reassuring them, is when you now want to start asking what options they may have been looking at as well.
Yeah.
And
so it's a process.
So
you don't just attack. Oh, what are we going to do next?
And you're not imposing.
Exactly. You're not imposing.
saying, so this one comes a lot with a lot of people. So you're not telling your wife or your husband that this is my uncle here. He asked me to send your CV that there's this thing at the office that you can do. You're not willing to check to see what their capabilities would be in that line. It's not just to say, oh, my uncle just offered this and I think you should take it. It's what more of what do you think this is, because the pressure.
So just put out the suggestion and let them decide whether or not this is the path they want to go on.
Because if you're just suggesting and you feel like, oh, because your uncle says whatsoever, and then there's this position for someone or something in a particular line that you think they might be able to handle, that's not the place to go, because then it starts to beat down on their self-worth and what they think of themselves. So you want to tread carefully. Remember, it's you doing this together as a team.
Right. Not just one person. It's both of you against the world. And when you people say, oh, my husband or my wife is my biggest cheerleader. So in good times and in bad times, they cheer me on. This is something that we need to also take into cognizance. Well, you can be a part of the conversation by calling 0705 8904927. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Well, you can call us back 0705 8904927 or 0805 0920927. These are pertinent questions that people, or rather conversations that people need to have.
Yes.
We need to be aware of. If you have ever found yourself being that person or that partner who is quick to make comments or state some very unhealthy fact or conversations with your partner who may have lost their job or who lost a business deal, because it may not be a job, it may be a business deal that they've been tracking and trying to push for the past 1 year, 2 years, and they finally get it, and all of a sudden it gets dropped. How? Because obviously the person is coming to you depressed. And I would say this, men, don't be afraid to cry when things like this happen. I know that it may show that you are weak, but no, it's fine.
Do we have to cry though?
No, it's fine. See, because if you feel hurt and if you feel true hurt, I know that you want to go into the bathroom and scream and shout. But sometimes, go to the arms of your wife and just lay your heads on her bosom.
Men will process how they want to process, you know.
I know, I understand that fact.
It's dependent. Like
but you know that growing up, men have always been told you cannot cry. That is something that I think we need to
stiffen up that upper lip and all that.
Yeah.
But then the thing is that we always must remember is it takes two to tango, and the truth being that if this person has not been the most supportive, you know, I made a joke while we were. Before we started, I said pretend to be broke or pretend to be out of, you know, that place where you can do something and see how it is. So men sometimes just do that for the reason to find out what might happen. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes,
Hi,
good morning.
Good morning, sir. What is your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Ayo. I'm calling from Palm Grove.
Ayo from Palm Grove. All right, Mr. Ayo. Talk to us. What are your thoughts on this?
This thing is a very sensitive thing, you know.
Quite.
Yeah.
asking us to look into. It has happened to me once.
Wow.
It happened like twice, and it
Wow.
was like two different reactions towards it. The first one was like I was with we weren't married then, but she more of stay with me then.
Okay.
And I lost my brand. Like I was robbed. I'm a photographer, camera.
Wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
you lost all. Wow.
Wow.
So, and to get back all those securities is a huge
Millions.
Yes.
Millions.
Like little by little, I'm losing customers. I'm losing my brand, and I won't lie to you. I lost the relationship along with the brand
Wow.
Wow.
because she was like, "What are we going to do now? This and that," and that was what. And thank God now. This just concluded November.
Mhm.
I'm now a 9 to 5 person.
Wow.
Still doing photography on the other.
On the other side,
other
yeah, at
hand,
least
yeah.
using the job to get funding.
Yeah.
So like something was happening in the office, and it was as if I'm going to be sacked. Like everything was just, and my woman was not in Lagos. She's schools in Abeokuta. She
Okay.
was calling me. How are you going to do it? I'm coming to Lagos right now. She was so concerned.
Wants to be a support system.
Yeah. Okay, let me just come to Lagos now. I happen to be the one that, okay, calm down, don't worry. Just stay. And after the turbulence happened, she still finds her way to Lagos yesterday.
Wow.
Oh my word.
So
That is such a supportive partner.
Like, I just want to come and see how you are doing.
wow. Through all of that storm.
And it goes a long way. Throughout those times, the pressure was coming from the office almost every 2 hours. I
Wow.
receive calls, receive mail and everything. And during those times, she also called, just don't worry, calm down. This will pass.
Wow.
This will pass. This will
Wow.
pass. And it passed.
And he passed. He did.
And it passed. So it's very, very important to be sensitive and, to know the right words to say.
To say to
Right.
someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
For calling.
Thank you so much for calling. Knowing what to say and how to say it is actually important. We're going to go on this short break. When we come back, it's still Family Matters right here on the Super Breakfast Show.
Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
As a fan of praise and worship, imagine the rhythm of BJ Sax, Yinka Alashiyori, and Blessing Lopez. The ministration of Tokwe Alabi. The vibes of NK. Mike Abdul, Tosin Alao, Tony Adoki, Testimony Jaka, Akboro, Tosin B. All on one stage, and a host of other prominent ministers.
Are you ready?
2024, increase and abound. Location is the Police College Ground, Ikeja GRA, on December 26, Boxing Day, from 10 a.m. Entry is free, because you don't have to pay to praise.
Praise in the city, give Jesus
A Thanksgiving music festival, powered by CC 1051 FM.
It's that time of the year to know the original owners of the jokes. Comedy Checkup with Baba the Baba is back again. It's season 3 recognition award. Come watch your favorite comedians live on stage, featuring Baba the Baba, Shigilo, Mr. Makati, Odogun, Uwa Idaosa, MC Fred, MC Dimle, Lele O, and many more. Music by G Clem, Zaza Boy, 250 GB, Saxon Noel, and the legendary Stella Mo. Date Sunday, 15th of December 2024. Time 4 p.m. Venue Zaneta Hall, Woodway House, 301 Ikorodu Road, beside Seventh Day Adventist Church by Maryland Bus Stop, Maryland. Ticket regular 5,000, VIP 20,000, bronze table 100,000, silver table 200,000, gold table 500,000. Tickets available at the venue or call 080-5237-6699. Media partner Super FM. Don't miss it.
Your number one radio station.
One family, one radio. 92.7 Super FM.
Girl, you make me loco. You play me like a lotto. All you want is my dodo. I even buy you moto. Oh, no, oh, no. You say you wanna low, low. but why you leave me go? See now I am solo. It could have been something different. You say you want money, baby. Oh. We could be loving my honey, kissing and cuddling, life in Miami. Oh. We could have been something different. Oh. You say no money, no honey. Oh. You should be walking beside me morning and evening. Girl, why you running? No, I don't tire for play. Things say now you go hold me down. Checking by Losile. With you I want to settle down. You sweet me like soda, high me like lager, cool it down.
Okay.
Could have been something different. Or you say no money you want. Well, I mean, in times when conflicts arise, in times where you think to yourself that maybe you're not good enough, maybe the things are happening to you is as a result of your fault. Sometimes it may be, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it could just be a stepping stone to higher ground.
Yeah.
And these are the conversations that we have, conversations that intrigue you, conversations that makes you join in the conversation and enlightens you right here on Family Matters.
The person who just called before we went on the break talked about the fact that he was dating someone else as a business owner. And he had this issue where he got robbed and he lost everything. And now he has a 9-to-5 where he's working. He lost that relationship alongside with
everything with his
with it. Now, so is that lady a bad lady? Maybe not. That's what I want to say.
Okay, that's your standpoint.
That's my standpoint.
That's an angle you're coming from.
The lady who had to leave, who was like, I don't think I can deal with this. This guy has lost his source of income, and she is not able to help you through that. That's perfectly fine.
So you think the onus is on the guys to want to pick the women that may be with them or that will?
Which was why I said that Nollywood 1997 joke that I made earlier might be valid to an extent. See, some women, some men cannot deal with someone who doesn't have their source of income or doesn't have their game together. There are men who, the day their wife loses money or business or something, they have an entire feat. They can't have it. They are fighting tooth and nail. They are angry. They're like, how could you have done that? How could you have lost everything? How do you expect us to get through this right now? You know, it's in the nature of those people to have that constant support and the influence of your money working together with theirs.
So they're literally with you for the money.
They are not bad people.
Okay.
I'm sorry to put it that way. Because these people supported you while the chips were good.
But
then for the people who, sorry to cut you there, for the people who are going to, stay with you through the thick and thin.
Maybe they're the ones that are meant for you.
Yes.
Maybe that situation was going to show you that this person is actually not your person. But
because
when it now happens in marriage,
so
when you're already married,
which is why you must have those litmus tests. My dad will say,
I don't think that you acting like you don't have money as a man.
No. Let me tell you something. Creating scarcity at times. Whether as a man,
scarcity?
Yes, as a man,
would make you know whether the woman is with you for the money.
Not with you for the money. Whether they can survive, because this time will come. Don't say it that way. Okay. Whether these times will come when
they most definitely will.
They will come when you would have to struggle sometimes. See, there will be times when you can when you need to spend $1 million and not flinch would come, and you spend $1 million and not flinch. But then there will be times when all you have is 300,000 naira, but you have the need for $1 million naira. What will your spouse do in that instance? There's a need for you to find out and know while you're dating to see if this will work.
Right.
Because sometimes you expect people to condole with you and they're like, well, that's life.
I know, right?
You understand?
I understand.
So there's a need for us to understand who. See, someone said something. You're a businessman, a banker's wife, a salary earner's wife, a rich man's wife is not a less managed with you wife. I'm sorry. And a rich woman's or a very, very, yes, there are women who are richer than their husbands.
Oh, yes, they are.
And, for those cases, if she no gets, the man self go, they do one kind. Nobody say no getting money.
Right.
You understand? So we need to understand this. But then regardless, while we're in the confines of a marriage where this is what is happening, we don't have.
Yeah.
You must learn to do this together as a team and support each other.
I definitely agree with you on that one. Well, to join in on the conversation, call us on 0705 8904 or 080 509 20927. One thing that I always say is offer emotional support every other time. If you find out, because you know your husband, you know your wife, you know them when they're down, you know them when they're chirpy and happy. I mean, for me, who is If I'm not laughing, there's something going on. No, you need to check me.
I think I heard someone's a friend of mine told me that his mother-in-law, that's his wife's mom, told him that it's not everything my daughter asks for that you give her. It said not be everything which they ask for, because the day the things will be actual need go come, where you know go feed you, now then problem go day. If there are things that she doesn't necessarily, it's just I want this. It's not a pressing need.
It's not a pressing need.
You see it as a man, because men and women, adults are supposed to prospect the very, very interesting times. The times when there will be demands on your finance, like you might lose a job, you might lose a business, you might lose a contract, which is supposed to pay you millions that you're thinking
and
of.
You cannot provide for her at that moment. It's important that
you must have saved enough for those days.
Oh, that was why I even earlier mentioned that on Super Saver Show, Mr. Dolakwa Roluga, he happens on the Drive Time Show from 5:30 up until 6 o'clock every Monday.
Mondays.
He had said that you need to save up to at least 6 months money that you can take care of yourself after you lose your job. I know that is hard, but guess what? It would help the family through that entire phase in getting a new job, in trying to start a business, in trying to say, okay, what are the options that we can be looking at?
I would like to have a conversation with Roluga, by the way. Maybe one of these days where we're talking about all of these things on Family Matters, we can talk about it, because see, you know what is happening, and that is why really we must work towards a positive focus as couples and as people who, regardless of whether we've lost our jobs or nothing. I think aside saving for rent and saving for the upkeep of the family and the children, but keeping that extra for and in case.
Just in case.
Because you know the cost of living right now. There's the cost of living one kid living for Nigeria. Because looking at all of that, looking at all of that and the pressures of this life, it's like, also having an extra that you're saving that you're not going to touch.
Well, I mean, in all of this, we're just encouraging a lot more openness and understanding from the partner who may have lost a job, and open communication. Pay attention to their mood. Stand with them through this situation.
Offer practical support.
Yes. Be tactful. Not, that he may not be in a good mood and you're now asking the most ridiculous, or you're now asking her the most ridiculous questions.
Don't come and add pressure.
Exactly. Don't pressurize.
Don't pressure.
If you can, show support at that point. If you can, can we do this? And I mean, that this person does not have. It's now that time you're now requesting for the most odd things. The money that you have saved, that is trying to put the family together.
You're not thinking
you
of
are thinking, that's what I should be. I need to. If I don't buy it, my life is gonna end. Wow.
Let's not make it look like the women. And my dear brother, sir. If your wife is
you come from the man's standpoint.
So my dear brother, sir, if your wife has lost her job and she used to contribute to the rent one way or the other, sir, and you see that she didn't work for 6 months and she has not been able to, maybe even the petty trading and on the side thing she's doing is not adding to it, sir, I don't think you should put the pressure and start asking, so how are you going to contribute to this? Because there is so much that women do with the resources that they have that they never tell us about. I know that for a fact, that there are so many things that women do that, when it comes to contributing to the home, my mom, my sisters, my wife, then we go to say you don't give woman money when you give her money, but then there's so much that they do by adding from their pocket. So don't add to the pressure. Don't start asking, so how are you going to do this? Because the truth is, when she had the means, she did what she could.
Right.
So let's not add pressure and start saying, at least you were supposed to, at least at all you're supposed to, because when the going was good, she did. So let's be
really
empathetic.
Quite empathetic. And I mean, this is the bulk of the conversation that we're gonna have today on Family Matters. We hope that you were able to take a thing or two from this conversation,
definitely,
and understand a little more, especially my single Pringles. And I mean, people that are even in marriages or relationships, try to be more understanding, try to be more open. That time when they lose their job or a contract is not the time to go, what are we going to do next? Yes, it's a question that it should be asked. But then, I mean, it has to start with being empathetic, communicate, understand their ideas and understand them a little more just before you now ask, okay, so what is the way forward?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for listening.
Gracias.
It's been amazing with you. Go nowhere. We have an interview coming up.
Someone brought roses. I'm hoping he brought the roses.
See, if he will leave this studio.
His name is Mars. He has a
Mars
new song.
is coming here, and his song is Roses. And I categorically did a video for him the day before yesterday.
That
saying,
he posted.
Mars, you need to get me roses. If he did not bring roses here,
Maz, if you're listening right now, you better go get them roses.
Wahala.
And to our lovers coming into the studio today for Love and Lamba, we are expecting you to come by. We love you.